where we connect the dots on what's happening in the world in ways that empower, inform, and ideally keep you calm. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Congressman Jamie Raskin. He is a Maryland Democrat, the ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee, a man who has taught constitutional law for more than 20 years. So, a wonderful guest at this moment, and a lovely man. Congressman, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, I'm psyched to be with you, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
I want to start with the news and development today. There was a shooting in Boulder, Colorado, anti-Semitic attack, where a man who claimed to be trying to free Palestine attacked a group of Jewish people marching for the hostages. Today, the Department of Homeland Security says that they have revoked the visas of his entire family and detained them. There are a lot of ways to handle these kinds of terror and hate crime investigations. Is this the right thing to do?
Well, gee, you're giving me news now that I was not aware of. I've been in meetings, Jessica, so I'm not really familiar with the details of it. Um, Look, well, let me just state abstractly, where we are right now. There's, terrible violence that's been unleashed in our country and all over the world. There's terrible bigotry, anti-Semitism, racism. Um, and there's also this massive attack going on against immigrants at the same time. So now is the time that we have to hold steadfast to the rule of law. And the two most beautiful words in the English language are due process, because it's due process that establishes a barrier between the rights and freedoms of people and arbitrary power. And sometimes people say to me, well, does due process apply even to guilty people? Of course it does, because you don't know who's guilty and who's innocent until there's been due process. And so that applies throughout the government. So I don't know the specific cases of the perpetrator, culprits, family, and what's happening. And so I should withhold any commentary on that.
Okay, and I'll ask you a little bit about the immigration policy in a bit. On this attack, President Trump issued a statement afterwards, in which he did not mention that the people who were the targets of the attack were Jewish. He did not use the word anti-Semitism or talk about anti-Semitism. And this is at the same time that he and his allies say that they are so determined to root out anti-Semitism in America that they are going after universities, including Harvard. Curious how you explain this contradiction, and is his fight against anti-Semitism really about protecting the Jewish community? Or do you think it's really more about silencing dissent, critical thinking, and institutions that challenge authoritarian power?
Definitely, it is the latter. It is not the former. If Donald Trump were serious about challenging and ferreting out anti-Semitism, he would begin with his own administration. Take Ed Martin, who was his U.S. attorney until he was forced to withdraw that nomination. Ed Martin, in addition to having covered up the fact that he'd appeared 150 different times on Russian propaganda state networks, also is just, knee deep into the anti-Semitic right-wing circles that have uh, come to saturate Republican politics now. Um, Ed Martin is a guy who described a neo-Nazi, a Hitler imitator who draws a Hitler mustache on himself as not just a good friend, but a great man and a great leader. He repeatedly stood by him, despite the fact that this guy has said that Hitler's problem was that he did not finish the job. He said that babies who were born with a disability should be killed immediately. I mean, just sickening stuff. And Ed Martin continued to stand by him even after National Public Radio presented him with a catalog of all the things he was doing. And then later, when he got nominated to be U.S. attorney, he pretended not to know. But look, the violent assault on the Capitol on January 6th was infused with Christian white nationalist and anti-Semitic elements. There was one guy there who was wearing a T-shirt that said